Gil, what are your thoughts on Cooper Flagg after getting to see him play in person?
And he's supposed to be a #1 pick?
That's the reports right now.
I don't want to mess up his stock, but, you know...
Damn, Gil. He's American.
He's 17, so cool, right? He's 17. With the #1, like, he's going to be a great second, third option type of player. He's gonna be a forward man. He's gonna be pick pop type of guy. Like putting the ball right now. Because he's 17, putting the ball in his hand and say, "You're gonna be our superstar, carry us." I don't know if he's ready for that yet.
When it comes to the #1 pick in this year's NBA draft, everyone has Cooper Flagg as the clear-cut favorite. And as someone who has loved and played this game for years, I can't for the life of me understand why. Now, for all the Caucasian people listening to this, I don't mean any disrespect, but I don't think I've ever seen a prospect that could seemingly do no wrong in the media's eyes. It's like, it literally seems like no matter how much this guy messes up in the game, it is just overlooked and brushed to the side. I mean, is Cooper dad like an NBA executive or something? Like does his dad own shares in ESPN or something? Because, like, it's weird. Like, when it comes to past #1 picks, you know, other than last year's, who was a kid from France that no one really knew, you could see the clear-cut talent. I mean, like Wemby, Paolo, Cade, Ant-Man, Zion. I mean, you could see why all these guys went #1, like, clearly. Like, it was, you know, far ahead, better than everyone else, you know, other than Zion with John Morant. But when it comes to, like, a stat class, like the one Cooper is in, he just doesn't seem like that guy, like that #1 guy, like, especially not the way the media makes him sound. Like, let the media tell it like he's just the greatest thing since LeBron, since Jordan. I mean, if you ask me, Cooper's not even the best player on his team. You know, that'll be the Knappel kid. I watched a bunch of Duke full games just to make sure I wasn't tripping. And I'm gonna be honest with you, man. It seems like he may be like the 4th or 5th best player on the team, on his own team, which seemed like the same case when he was at Mount Verde. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying Coop is just trash. I think he's a great defender and a solid rebounder. I think he's a really good passer out of the high post. And, you know, he's really athletic, which is great, but there's a lot of people athletic in the NBA. And I'm not being racist here. You feel me? I'm not being racist, but, you know, white boys don't necessarily have the best track record of being long-term athletic in the NBA.
I think it would be tough for anybody to really do a scouting report on me in terms of how, like, they're going to take me out of a game, because I don't think there's really a way that any team can take me out of a game.
Man, Cooper, I'm going to keep it all the way 100 with you. You ain't who you think you is.
He has a shaky jump shot and an even shakier handle. He uses the same go-to move, the little quick dribble behind the back thing that he always seems to, you know, just naturally do whenever he gets in trouble. And once you notice it on the scouting report, you know, it's going to be too easy to predict. He has trouble creating space and creating his own shot off the dribble. He takes awkward stances when he has the ball, and he just looks overall uncomfortable with the ball in his hand at the top of the key or around the perimeter. His offensive moves are so slow and predictable that when he can't turn the corner on his defender, he just resorts to trying to back him down and playing bully ball, but I don't think that's going to cut it at the next level. I say all this to say that I could probably name 5 prospects that I would take over Coop in this draft alone. I honestly just feel like, you know, middle America is just, you know, they just want this great white hope, and they are rooting for him and, you know, anything he does, because they want a superstars that, you know, looks like them. And I get it. But I'm sorry. I'm sorry to have to be the one to tell you guys, but I just don't think Cooper Flagg is it. You know, I was watching the episode of It Is What It Is the other day, and Ken was making a joke about how, you know, we've seen this story before, you know. It's called Christian Laettner. And, you know, I just couldn't stop laughing. And, you know, some people actually had the nerve to call this man the next Larry Bird. Now, don't get me wrong. I do think Coop will be, you know, a fine NBA pro. You know, he hustles on defense. He has a high motor that any team could use, you know. I just don't think he will be this big superstar that everyone is convinced he already is. Like think of Michael Kidd-Gilchrist. Like, I'm not saying Cooper's that, but, he's like a better version of that. He's not the kind of guy you just throw the ball to and he goes out and gets a bucket. He's much better in transition, getting putbacks, tip-ins, easy layups, open shot, swing, he'll knock it down, Like a 12-point scorer, a night, a solid role player, a solid, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. He could probably average 12 points, 8 rebounds his whole career, and that'll be good. There's nothing wrong with that. I just feel like I got to stop gassing the kid. He couldn't get a bucket going ISO if he was the only one on the court. And is it just me, or have I seen this guy, get cookied way too often? There's always a bad, like, sloppy cookies, too. Like, there's always, like, the ball be shooting out of his hands, going over his head. He just loses. He just be losing the ball. It's not even like the defender always even just takes it. Like, you could tell he just forcing it. Now, if you wanted my pick for number one, it'll clearly be, Dylan the Man Harper. Now, this is a kid who could literally do it all. He can shoot, handle, defend, pass, is usually under control, has a high IQ defensively and offensively, can control the pace of the game, can get in the lane when he wants. Sometimes he could be a little loose with the ball too, against strong defense, but at least you can always see like where he's going with it. He's not just forcing things because he feels like he needs to make a play. Like, oh, I'm Dylan, I'm Cooper Flagg. This is the point where I'm supposed to make a play, so I'm gonna try to force a play. And when I mess up, the media is just gonna overlook it. They're just gonna brush it off. Dylan let the game come to him, and he always makes the right basketball play. And if you don't believe me, just check out the track record. Dylan always outplayed Cooper in their matchups, even in the All-Star games when they were on the same team. It's Dylan. Dylan is the one, putting up better numbers and doing more for his squad. And Dylan, he's used to having to carry a team, unlike Cooper. Dylan didn't go to a powerhouse prep school like Montverde or a loaded college team like Duke. He went to local schools where, he had to be that guy just for the team to have a chance. Cooper's always been the third or fourth best player on his team, so, how is he going to succeed as the number one pick and take over a franchise? I'm sorry, but, I feel like a lot of you people got a rude awakening coming this next season, And I can't wait to see how it all plays out. I really want to know if I'm right or wrong about this kid, but I'm sorry, man. I just don't see it.
Most of his early buckets, when he tried to go by himself and do something, he struggled. He couldn't get by anybody.
Because he's a 17-year-old
All his offense came from swing, they help, he's open.
Because he's a 17-year-old freshman.
It never came from...
You like that kid from Rutgers?
I see... When I'm talking about number one, I have a kid at Rutgers We're giving him the ball and he's creating.
So do you think if he went to a school that's giving him the ball and let him create, I'm pretty sure he could.
I don't know. He reminds me of the guy that, like, he's my second or third option. If I'm telling him to be the next type of GOAT guy that we're gonna feed our offense through, I can't see it right now.
Okay, because
that's all. Me watching him, it's like, if you put him on a great team, he's your perfect player because he does everything, right? So if your team is already ready, you just need one piece, he's like the Tim Duncan, without the dominance of it, the Tim Duncan to Spurs.
Yeah.
You put him in, you fit him in, and he'll figure it out. Like, he get the rebound, he can be Draymond Green type.
Yeah.
Draymond Green with a better offensive skill. I don't know if he's going to be a number one option. So it depends on who get that number one pick.
But I know what you're saying. He didn't have that. He didn't come down.
No, it's exactly. Chet.
Yeah.
He's Chet.
But you're saying he didn't come down like that kid in Rutgers. Like, because in basketball games, there got to be a play where you get it.
I'm not looking.
So would you pick him or the boy from Rutgers?
Depends
on my pick.
Because you can plug him in.
What I'm saying is,
so we'll do that later.
If your team needs one guy and y'all gonna go over the edge, you're gonna go with Cooper Flagg.
Yeah.
If you're trying to build from the beginning, no.